Hey everyone, it's Vinyl. Today we're going to be talking about two different really cool Roblox games. First off, we're going to talk about Ragdoll Universe. Ragdoll Universe is quite an interesting game. It's a game that's just basically your kind of not your average shooter. It's not really close, but it's a shooter game where your character ragdolls quite a bit, and ragdoll physics are pretty important. You can customize your character. The menu system is pretty freaking good in this game. But you can go through the menus, customize your character, obviously, which is what you can see me doing. And you can play two different types of modes. You can play a lot of different types of modes, but you can go into two different types of servers. You can go into Mayhem servers, which are just all the different modes you could possibly play, and then you can go into the what's it called again? I'm very forgetful. And I don't like to do multiple takes. I like to just keep it fresh. Or you can go into endless mode. That's what it's called. And you stay on the same map, consistently get weapons, and just keep playing. The game's pretty cool. You can get death effects in the shop. You can get all these different things in the shop, like customizations for your face, your accessories, your pattern, your colors. There's a lot to do. And it's a very interesting system that they ended up doing. They have a daily sale. You can buy any items you want, but certain items are on sale every day, which allows you to get those items easier. In Mayhem, it's pretty cool. They have elimination, they have deathmatch, they have team versions of each. It's pretty fun. But the main portion of the game ends up with you dropping down into the map just from the sky, and you pick up different weapons from the floor. There's shotguns, there's pistols, there's legendary weapons, there's rare weapons, there's common weapons, or they're called basic in this game. The rarities don't mean too much. Usually legendary weapons are just strictly overpowered. For example, there's one legendary weapon called the Lifesteal Scythe, which is a melee weapon that if you land hits, you gain health back. It's one of my favorite weapons in the game because it's absolutely just busted. But the game overall is pretty fun. You kind of just run around, jump around, shoot people. You can slide, you can roll. If you get set on fire, you can actually roll around to stop, like to put out the flames, or you can jump into water. You have a stamina bar that dictates how much you can jump, how much you can roll, how much you can do everything, so you're not constantly spamming it. The game's just all around pretty fun. The gunplay is nice. It's a little janky, but I still find it pretty entertaining. I also find a lot of just the systems in the game to be entertaining. I don't know. I like the UI. There's a lot to this game, and I think it gets kind of underrated, or just it flies under the radar. It's a pretty small player base. But I think it's pretty fun, and I think it deserves a lot more clicks than it gets. It's a pretty fun game. The lobby while you wait for things to load in is pretty cool too. You can actually walk around. There's a mini game you can do to unlock an Among Us backpack. You straight up just do the task, usually doing electrical in Among Us, and you fix up some wires, and then you get a free cosmetic out of it, which is pretty cool. It's a nice little Easter egg. On top of that, there's a lot of different options in the game. There's healing, there's melee, there's there's all the different types of guns. They have a lot of funky weapons. The scopes are pretty cool in this game. I'm just gonna ramble. Honestly, I'm not gonna make any cohesive points. I'm just gonna ramble on and on about this game. There's a lot you can do. The game system is pretty fun. It gets a little difficult to learn sometimes, as the aiming is not what you'd expect, I would say. But I find the game pretty entertaining. I do enjoy sitting there playing the game, shooting people. Good stuff. Endless mode is a nice way to learn stuff. Jumping into Mayhem is a lot more fun in my opinion, as there's rounds, there's the lobby. It's really nice. You can play the game with friends too. It's overall, I find it pretty entertaining. Another thing about this game is there's things called events, and you can have things like weather events. One of my games that I ended up playing, it was a dark and stormy night, so you would be given a flashlight off spawn, and you could see around if you pulled out the flashlight, or you could see weapons glowing, and you could see you could see gunshots, right? You couldn't see that far, and then every now and again lightning would strike, and you'd be able to see around the whole map. I found that super interesting. It was a really fun game. I really enjoyed it. And another cool thing about this game is healing. You don't heal passively, but there's vending machines stuck around the map, and when you use one of the vending machines, they give you a cola or something, and you can drink, and then it will heal you up. It's just a really interesting, fun little gimmicky game that I think people should look more into than they give time. Give credit for them. But that'll be the end of this game, which is Ragdoll Universe. we will now be talking about the next game on the list, which is Guts and Black Powder. Guts and Black Powder is also honestly a pretty phenomenal game in my opinion. It's definitely more of a niche game than Ragdoll Universe, but Guts and Black Powder is a game based on like the 1800s war times where they had muskets, blunderbusses, flintlocks. I almost said flint knocks. I'm too used to Fortnite. Either way, you have those kind of weapons, and then you also have things like your sabers, like your swords, and it's a zombie survival style game. You can do objective modes and endless modes. The only modes I played for this recording was objectives. Endless is closer to your traditional COD Zombies gameplay. You have your group, and you try to survive through endless waves. I say closer, it's not anything like there's no Easter eggs, there's no pack-a-punch, you can't like get different weapons, you have a class-based system, but it's closer to that endless feel. Objective, you actually do quite a bit. You end up going through different areas while shooting zombies. You'll see the gameplay here, and you have to do different things like blow up certain areas, blow up walls, climb buildings, and do all these different like scenarios and go through them all. There are different maps than the one that I featured on this video, but it is an interesting little game that I've played. I find it really fun to have your team, and most people in the game are pretty chill, just shooting back, sitting back and shooting. My apologies. Shooting people up, shooting down the zombies, making them fall over, and the game can turn the tables in an instant. You can be going from the best player in your group, surviving, killing everyone, killing everything, and out of nowhere a zombie tackles you, and 3 other zombies get on you, and you're dead immediately. It's a very quick like death game, and I find that really interesting. The 5 different classes you can play, there's a blunderbuss class, a musket class, a officer class, which has a flintlock, a sapper class, which can build, and a support class, I forget what it's called, but they can play an instrument that buffs everyone's reload speed, as everyone only has 1 shot in their gun before they have to reload, so they can become pretty integral to the game to have them around you in order to keep reloading at a good speed. They also play some sick beats, in my opinion, but maybe that's just me. But it's interesting to be able to go around with a huge group of people and shoot down tons upon tons of zombies. Each class has their own perks. The musket class has a bayonet on the end of their gun, as well as they have longer range, but they have a bayonet, so instead of having to switch out to their saber, they can just switch to bayonet mode and stab people like that. The blunderbuss just has an amazing crowd control. Shooting that blunderbuss into a crowd of zombies, you can level so many in 1 shot. I usually play the blunderbuss. The officer has a perk that can end up making everyone a lot faster and deal a lot more damage with their melee weapons, which it's called charge, and it just makes everyone charge in and start attacking a lot quicker. I haven't played sapper or support, but I kind of explained support the best I could. Sapper, they can build objects, they can build spikes, they can build walls, they can place caltrops. I mainly see them used in endless mode as you're trying to defend your group. It's actually really fun when you get a really good team going with everyone around. It's just a neat little game. Even if you're not like a big fan of those types of games, I do recommend trying it out. It's just a comedic game to sit down and play for a little bit. I do find it pretty entertaining. But that's kind of the end of Guts and Black Powder. Obviously, both games are going to be in the description of this video, so if you're interested in either, absolutely go click on them and try them out. They're super fun. I think it is. Guts and Black Powder has a decent player base, as right now, at least as I'm making this video, it has a 2.6k active players. Ragdoll Universe has 159 active players. So honestly, if you can't, just show either of the games some love. They're both pretty fun games. I find them both pretty entertaining. But either way, I really do appreciate you watching. Whether or not you check out the games, I hope you have a good one. I hope you have a great night. I really do appreciate you watching my video, and I hope to see you on the next one. Have a good one.